We're given to understand that China has reported 5,280 new cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday, more than double the previous day's tally. It is the highest daily number since the start of the pandemic. Jilin, a northeastern province, was hardest hit, accounting for more than 3,000 cases. According to the National Health Commission, this is the latest number as far as China is concerned. Now, since the coronavirus first emerged in the central city of Wuhan in late 2019, the Chinese government had successfully suppressed large-scale outbreaks with its zero COVID strategy, which involves hard lockdowns that confine large sections of the population to their homes. Due to this latest surge in cases, at least 11 cities and counties nationwide have been locked down. This includes the southern tech hub of Shenzhen, which is home to 17 million people. Now, several questions, of course, have been raised time and time again about China's real COVID tally and the underreporting of numbers in China, which has been taking place. Just a few months earlier, we saw China imposing some of the harshest lockdowns in the world. We saw them put people in metallic boxes, quarantine boxes, and lots of other such hard measures. This, of course, is a part of the COVID zero strategy which China adheres to. But right now, the situation is of special concern because the reportage is only high. It is of around 5,000 cases. This is a map that we have for you on the broadcast. It, of course, shows China's COVID tally over the past 2 years as we speak, and right now we see a peak, viewers. This is the peak that we are seeing at the moment as far as China is concerned. This is just in the past month, a sharp increase in the number of cases. The cases also increased at around March 11, and then we saw a decline back to 452 cases, and then the cases rose back again with 2,000 cases. If we see these cases in the past, February 9th, of course, saw a very few number of cases being reported in China. And if we sort of take this map and push it back to when the pandemic actually started, we see that in Feb 2020 rather, or Jan 2020 rather, China also saw a similar peak, but it wasn't as bad as the peak which is being reported at the moment, where China is reporting around 5,000 cases in the sum of the districts which have been put on some of the harshest lockdowns in the world. On the broadcast with us, Dr. Ishwar Gilada. He's an infectious disease expert. Dr. Gilada, how big of a concern is this? Because as per the patterns that we've seen in the past, China's increase in cases is then followed by many other parts of the world, especially Europe, and after which we see cases increase in India as well. We see Germany also seeing a rise in the cases. What do you make of this official reporting of 5,280 cases in China?
Firstly, nobody believes China numbers. Secondly, China had suppressed a lot of facts, like it could have been a biological warfare which accidentally exploded. And there has been a saying that if you dig a grave, you will be buried yourself. So probably that is the situation. Thirdly, what you see currently in the entire eastern countries, there is a lot of COVID spread. You take South Korea and Vietnam. They are countries which are just 3 or 4% or 5% of Indian population, and Vietnam is hardly 7% of Indian population. They are reporting 3 lakh, 4 lakh cases per day. So you can multiply that by 25 times. If you consider 4% population in South Korea, that becomes around 1 crore cases per day for India. So that kind of number of cases are there. Lastly, the Chinese vaccine, Sinovac or whatever 2 vaccines they have, they are not efficient, and that has been proved not in India but in Malaysia, where they use 3 vaccines: mRNA vaccine of Pfizer, AstraZeneca, which is used in India as a Covishield, and Sinovac. What they found, that AstraZeneca was the best. They found the outcome of those vaccinated people, how many of them died, and they found that the least deaths were from the AstraZeneca. 1.9 times more death, or double the deaths, were from mRNA, and 4 times more deaths were from the Sinovac. So that means Sinovac is not a good vaccine at all, and nobody else will give vaccine to China. So under that situation, they are going to have a big problem. And last but not the least, what we currently see, that waves after waves, that means whatever COVID variants are there, they are here to infect everybody in the world. So if you have a weaker first wave and second wave, third wave is stronger. If you have weaker first, second, third wave, fourth wave is very stronger. And therefore, we have seen that in India also. If you take either vaccinated people or those which have got already natural course immunity, nearly 100% people are covered, nearly 90% people are covered. And one more very important thing, there is nothing like a herd immunity in COVID. Earlier we used to think that if 60% or 70% people are vaccinated or infected, others will be protected. But that is not so in COVID.
So, one takeaway from what you're saying is that Chinese numbers cannot be trusted. The other is, of course, Chinese vaccines are very inefficacious. But what about these patterns which we've seen in several of the previous waves as well, Dr. Gilada, where we see cases increase in China, then cases increase in other parts of the world subsequently?
See, China did a strictest lockdown. And when the first time the cases exploded in Wuhan area, almost 95% cases were only in that one province, and 5% of the China, 5% cases were in rest of China. So they did such a strictest lockdown. They allowed, they saw to it that the COVID will not spread there, and they did not inform the rest of the world. So cases trickled from there to rest of the world. One by one, each countries got involved, and thereafter they have been keeping silent. WHO committees after committees, there is a third committee now, which is a fact-finding mission to find out how the virus came in. And WHO till today did not deny that it can be part of the biological warfare, which could be either accidentally or by design exploded. So that is the scenario in which everybody is looking at China with a great suspicion. And lastly, China was developing vaccine, I think probably before the world could know that there is a COVID virus. So before that, they started vaccine manufacturing. So that means they knew that you have a problem, you have an antidote also created here. Unfortunately for China, this antidote was not effective, and therefore they are bound to be impacted worstly. 5,700 or 5,200 cases are not so much. But if you look at from yesterday, it is double. And if you look at last week, weekly, there's a one chart which comes how weekly it is impacted. It's weekly 3 times more than last week. And wherever the explosion is seen, initially they are in hundreds, then thousands, then 10,000s, and then it will go to lakhs. So within a 2 to 3 week period, it will go to lakhs, provided China reports honestly. So, and Omicron being a highly infectious virus, much more than the Delta. And secondly, in one family, if one is infected, everybody is supposedly infected. Even if they report, they don't report. And that way, it will have a lot of impact. And I think China has to come out at least by truth that what has actually happened is like a confession chamber. They said that yes, by a mistake it happened, but at least come out. They are not coming out with truth.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.